Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Counselor's Couch 101. And I am Jim Stump. And yes, you can remember my name just by checking out the painting on the wall. Someone noticed. Thank you very much for that. If you'd like to send an email, you can reach us at counselorscouch101 at mail.com, or leave a comment below. If you have any issues on your mind and you don't mind that we share about the issue, we won't divulge any personal information or location or anything of that sort. But if you don't mind that we talk about something you're going through, that would give more life to the posts that we do here. It'd be more immediate, and it would be something that's probably on other people's minds as well. We have a lot more in common than we have in difference, and a lot of people think we're talking about them, but it's just that it's a human experience. It's what we all go through at one time or another. We all have this stuff, right? A couple of weeks ago, I did a post on caregivers, and I said, scratch a caregiver, you're going to find a neglected child. And got a lot of comments on that. And one lady said that she was taught as a child to, be generous and help people out and do good things for folks. And I thought about that, and I said, well, she's exactly correct. So what was I thinking of that was different from that? Because I believe in that as well. I was raised to look out for your brother, do what you can to help other people in life. The whole idea is all of us helping one another to get through and to share and appreciate the times we spend together. So we give of ourselves. I thought, what was the difference between that, which most of us do, by the way? We're generous. We give people rides. We lend money here and there. What was the difference between that and what I was thinking of, the neglected child, right? And then it occurred to me that I was actually talking about a different sort of a condition in life, right? And what happens is some people not only give from their abundance. If I have extra money, I've paid all my bills and I've donated to a charity or two, and I feel good about myself, and I still have money left over, I can help people with that if the need arises. And it doesn't take a lot out of me to do it. And I'm happy to do it, grateful to do it. It's where we get joy. But in that situation, in that circumstance, and with someone with a well enough self-esteem, I don't have to do it, right? Let's say that I've spent all my disposable income for a particular time until the next paycheck or whatever, and I don't have the ability to help someone out. I can decline. I say, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now. The people I was talking about, oftentimes they don't have the ability to say no, right? People ask them for something and they say yes and they do it, or they loan money, or they take them places. And I'm not necessarily talking about a little bit of money. Okay, you can lend me $5 or $20. I'm talking people who come up and want $1,000 from someone, and they'll give it. And it's not that they have that $1,000 to give. It's just that they sort of feel obligated to do it. And they're not giving from their abundance necessarily. Maybe they're giving from what they need to survive and thrive on their own, right? They're giving more than just something they have disposable to spend any way they want. They might give money, like I say. Give rides. Can you give us a ride? Maybe people want to do something and they're asking you to facilitate their doing it. We want to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Let's all go together. And oh, by the way, can you take your car? That kind of thing. And the person doesn't like Six Flags because the rides over there are terrifying to that person. But that person goes anyway because someone else wanted it, right? I hear stories about people moving into caregivers' homes, right? Generally, we're talking about relatives, particularly children, of course, but it might be parents, it might be brothers or sisters, it could be aunts, uncles, it could be cousins, right? They just say, hey, I need a place to stay and you've got a place, so you need to put me up here. And the person does it to their own detriment. They're losing their own privacy, right? Their own fortress of solitude has been invaded, but they do it anyway. Those are the people I'm talking about when I say scratch a caregiver and you find a neglected child. And what's at the bottom of that particular sort of emotional situation? It's usually low self-esteem, right? Let's go back to the idea of a neglected child, right? That person, let's say they're middle child. They always say the middle child is the lost one because the older ones always get the glory. They do the things that bring, what do you call it, success to the family, give the family pride because they accomplish things. And the little ones are usually the funny ones, the jokesters and all that, so they get their attention. And the ones in the middle can get lost because they either have to compete with their siblings to get attention, or they just sort of do without it. And oftentimes that's what happens, they do without it. And in order to have any place at all in the group, they assist other folks get what the other folks want because that gives the caregiver an identity, a chore, something to contribute that is worthwhile. But the problem is, oftentimes, those caregivers will walk away with a resentment, especially if they do it for years and years and years. They can go away with their resentment and they say to me, how come no one ever asks me what I need? How come no one ever offers to do something for me or to provide something that I might enjoy? They never do. They never bring it up. Why is that? Well, part of it is the caregiver has established that kind of relationship. People around him just expect him to do things because that's all the caregiver has ever done. They did things for other people. Other people think that they like doing it, they enjoy doing it, which oftentimes they do, but that's not the end all be all of that emotional equation. They are still yearning for some sort of care for themselves, someone to take notice of them and their needs, right? Low self-esteem is often at the bottom of that type of caregiving when they give more than they really have to share, right? They give from their needs. They don't give from their abundance, right? They do without. If they were going to purchase something or go somewhere or do something and then someone else needs the money and they give it to them, well, they just don't pursue that goal that they had in mind. They let go of it, let the other person enjoy the trip or the items that they need to purchase, or let them have their house, give them food, all sorts of things caregivers do. I'm wondering, we used to have a word I don't hear much anymore. The word was sublimation, sublimation. And the idea was that you took something that was bad and you made something good out of it, right? So if you were angry at people, say you had been abused in some way, you go out and you defend other people who are being abused, right? Or being emotionally kicked around, maybe verbally kicked around. You fight for them because you know what it feels like. You take that negative feeling inside of you, the anger, the resentment, the hostility, and you use it to protect someone else. Turn a negative into a positive behavior. Sublimation. Caregivers are like that. Their needs are not being met, so they meet other people's needs. And it is a good thing in the world oftentimes to help other folks, that's for sure. Not saying it isn't. And yes, it can make the caregiver feel good to do it. But if they have to do it all the time and nothing returns to them, it can hurt. It can hurt profoundly in a deeply emotional way. And it's not about the money or the trip or the time or anything else. It's just that they aren't being cared for in return. They aren't receiving that in the same amount as they give. And oftentimes it's just that idea. If someone would just turn around and say, hey, thanks, I really appreciate all you do for me. That kind of thing would go a long way. So when I said caregivers and like that, I was kind of thinking of a different sort of an emotional condition than being a regular nice person who helps out when you can and helps out when you have the ability to help out and it doesn't hurt you. I was thinking of people that give until it hurts and then it actually does hurt. You know somebody like that? Why don't you go up to them and tell them, hey, thanks. What do you need? What would you like? Let me do something for you this time. Let me go get the coffee, right? Let me pick up the check. I'll drive. What movie would you like to see? They might say, I don't know, whatever you want is fine. but they're going to really love the fact that you asked and that you offered. I don't know, folks. We're all supposed to be helping each other out. I hope we get that message, and I hope we do it. Let's all be happy by taking care of one another. Just a thought. Look at those caregivers. There just might be someone whose emotions have been neglected. Just saying. Thanks for stopping by. I look forward to talking with you next time.